Hey, what's up guys, it's Destery and welcome back to What the Fuck 5.
Justice!
The quality of being fair and reasonable. These are not my reading glasses. Justice, the thing that bad guys run from, and the thing that gives Batman a giant boner.
Oh, justice!
Although sometimes justice is a little harder to define. So from a judge preventing a man from having a girlfriend, to forcing a man to hold up a sign for 6 years, for today's video we count down the top 5 weirdest judge sentences. Number 1. So in 2007, a man from Toronto was arrested for beating his ex-girlfriend and threatening to stab her, but not before turning the knife on himself when the police finally arrived. And after spending several weeks in the hospital because he severed one of his arteries, he was also charged with assault against his ex-girlfriend and sentenced to not have a girlfriend for 3 years. Seriously, that was his punishment. According to the judge, though, the exact punishment was 3 years where he could not form a romantic relationship of an intimate nature with a female person. Which, if you think about it, might have been the best punishment ever. Like, just imagine the severity of this guy's blue balls if he's at a club and it's like, hey there, I'm not wearing any panties. Why don't we get out of here and you can take me back to your place?
Okay, fine, let's go. Sir, you're under arrest.
Fuck! But also, like, how do they even keep track of this? Like, do they have someone constantly watching him to make sure there's no flirting going on? Oh yeah, I've been there. It's on 3rd Street, right? Yeah, we should go sometime.
Hey, no flirting. This is your first warning.
Who's that? No one. Don't mind him. That is incredibly loud!
Second warning for licking your lips and staring at her tits. One more and you're out of here, you creepy motherfucker.
As creative as the punishment was, though, the 24-year-old Stephen Cranley actually assaulted another girl a couple years later and was then fast-tracked to 2 years in prison. Wow, way to go, Stephen. Fucking Stephen. Number 2, Daniel and Eloise Morales. This man and wife couple truly show that even the worst people can find someone to love, while the rest of us are stuck here with Pornhub and a crusty tube sock. Did I mention life is fair? Anyways, Daniel Morales from Houston, Texas was busted after he stole $250,000 from his county's crime victims fund. But instead of sending him off to jail, which would have been way too easy, Daniel was ordered to stand at a busy intersection holding up a sign saying, I am a thief. I stole $250,000 from the Harris County Crime Victims Fund. Daniel Morales. For 5 hours every weekend for 6 years. Holy shit, man, that sucks. But I gotta say, it's brilliant. We should just do this to all criminals, so maybe it'll teach them to not do crime unless they want to be hilariously embarrassed. You smoke meth? Sign. You sexually harassed a coworker? Sign. You pee in public? Sign. Then eventually you just have to move because everyone in your town is gonna be like, hey, I know you. You're the guy who pees in public, right? That was one time. What a loser. But apparently Daniel says that he suffers abuse from people driving by and sometimes even sympathized with. Yeah, sympathized with a guy who stole $250,000 from a crime victims fund. Poor guy. But let's not forget about his equally terrible wife. Daniel's wife Eloise was also convicted of theft when she was found guilty of embezzling over $200,000 from the local district attorney's office. Fortunately, the judge was not so lenient with Eloise as she was forced to go to jail 1 month out of the year for 6 years straight, complete 400 hours of community service, have a sign at their house that states that the people that lived inside the house are convicted thieves, and she also had to hold up a sign similar to the one that her husband had to hold. Good God! I mean, this is where justice gets kind of dicey. I mean, do you think that the punishment in this case fits the crime, or do you think she should have gotten off easier? Do you think she should have gotten off harder? It's tough to say, even though this punishment is hilarious. Number 3, Heidi Cole. So this one is just hilarious because of how old the lady is, because usually you don't hear of an 89-year-old woman committing destruction of property crime. So the story goes, in 2008, a German lady by the name of Heidi Cole, in the ripe age of 89, witnessed every day more and more cars parking on the street leading up to her house. So what did this gentle grandmother do? Oh, you know, just what any sane person would do. She went out with a knife and slashed the tires of all 50 cars lining down her street. What? You go, grandma. Every single car. Which, like, how? I wouldn't really know, but I don't imagine tires are the easiest thing to slash. And we're talking about an 89-year-old woman. Like, usually ladies that old can't even open a jar of jelly, let alone slash a rubber tire.
Ah, come on, you son of a bitch! I didn't survive the Revolutionary War to go out like this.
So Heidi was quickly arrested and was interrogated, where she admitted to her crimes and was forced to pay a giant fine. When she stated that she didn't have the money to pay for her evil doing, she was then sentenced to knit sweaters for every person's tire that she slashed. Which is totally a worthy sentence. Totally. This story, though. Honestly, though, how did they even enforce this one, too? They also never mentioned the quality of the sweaters that she had to knit, so it could have been like, Heidi, thank you so much for my sweater. I mean, it in no way helps the fact that my tire is still slashed, but thank you. Hey, what about my sweater?
Here you go.
What the hell is this? This is like 5 pieces of string crudely glued together.
I hope you freeze, you son of a bitch. Steven and your H2 Hummer on my block. Fucking Steven.
Every asshole's name is Steven, apparently. The last news that this article had heard of her, though, she completed the sweaters but had moved on to a retiring home where she's probably spending out the rest of her days. Probably telling her friends Gertrude, Wilfred, and Ruth about how she's a hardened criminal while doing wheelies in her wheelchair and smoking cigars. Number 4, Jesse Lee Harold. Do you know someone who's just an absolutely terrible parent? Like, we're talking Faramir from Lord of the Rings dad bad. We're talking Star-Lord's dad bad. We're talking Tywin Lannister bad. We're talking Darth Vader bad. You get it. Well, one such terrible parent is 27-year-old Jesse Lee Harold from Virginia. Good old Jesse was driving in his car with his 3-year-old son when he got into a car accident. And usually when you get in an accident, you stop, you make sure everyone's okay. Are you okay? Exchange insurance. Yeah, here's my information. I'm so sorry. Call the police and whatnot. Oh yeah, there's been an accident. Well, not Jesse. Jesse decides instead to get out of his car with his then injured 3-year-old and just run off. Get your coat, Timmy. Time to peace out of this bitch. Actually, scratch that. Don't grab your coat. I'm a terrible parent. Let's go. Yeah, just runs off. Good job, man. Real good parenting. Was it worth eluding the police for 5 minutes? Yeah, cars are registered to people. I don't know if you knew that. So upon police getting called to his residence, they found his son there with minor injuries and even glass in his diaper. Jesse's son was sent to the hospital and Jesse was quickly arrested, where he was landed with charges like child endangerment, a hit and run, and also driving under his suspended license. Also, in addition to just these crimes, Jesse had an extensive previous record, getting arrested in 2007 for another hit and run after he was huffing an aerosol can, 2008 for beating up a guy, and again in 2012 for possessing cocaine. Also, little side note, the child that was with him in his car wasn't actually his only child, as he has 7 other children with 6 different women. Jesus Christ, dude, do you know what condoms are? So on top of all those other charges, he was sentenced to 4 years behind bars and forced to get a vasectomy to never have children again. Well done, Judge. We need more people like you. As we all know, if you slice off one head of a hydra, 2 more take its place. But if you slice the balls of a hydra, that's a different story.
Will you forget the head slicing thing?
And finally, at number 5, Michael Cicconetti. So no, Michael Cicconetti is not an old man slashing tires or an irresponsible father huffing aerosol cans while driving. And Michael Cicconetti is certainly not an Italian mob boss, as his name kind of sounds like it would be, but is instead an Ohio judge that is the best example of using creative punishments to punish criminals rather than just sending them to jail. It actually was a lot of the inspiration behind some of the cases that we mentioned today. But some of his best sentences include forcing a woman to walk 30 miles after she refused to pay a 30-mile taxi fee, forcing a man to donate 20 pounds of dog food every holiday after he shot a dog, making 2 teenagers lead a donkey down the street with a sign that says sorry for the jackass offense after they spray painted 666 on Jesus, forcing a man to stand with pigs for 2 hours after he was yelling at a cop and calling them pigs, and making a woman spend the night in the middle of the woods alone after she left some kittens in the same woods. And again, these are just some of the awesome sentences that Mr. Cicconetti dishes out, so if you want to check out the rest of them, you can check that out in the description down below. They're brilliant though.
After being arrested for soliciting a prostitute, this man chose public humiliation over jail time.
Is this tough enough punishment that you're never ever going to be doing something like this again?
Yes, absolutely.
This teen stole porn from an adult bookstore.
I'm thankful that Judge Cicconetti gave me an opportunity instead of a jail time.
But that is it for this episode of What the Fuck 5. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give this video a like and also subscribe to this channel, as I will be doing these every single week. My question of the day for you guys though is, do you think that these punishments were stiff enough, or should they have been more lenient? Do you think they should have been more? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, before you guys go, make sure to check out my newest video on my channel where I talk about my favorite music. It's literally 26 minutes long, so it's not going to hurt my feelings if you don't watch the whole thing, but a lot of people assume that I listen to a certain genre of music, which is not really the case. I'm just gonna spoil it right now. My favorite song of all time, Tiptoe Through the Tulips by Tiny Tim. God, the song's such a banger, man. But yeah, check that video in the description down below. That's it, guys. I will see you next time for another What the Fuck 5. Thanks for watching, and fair winds.